y'all, Michael here. Today is Saturday, July 31st, 2021. We are in Bowie, Texas, named after the singer David Bowie.
Bowie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bowie, Texas, named after James Bowie. So we're gonna check out the place and see what this town has to offer. Come hang out with us. We're here at the largest Bowie knife in the world. In fact, it's got a world record. It's 16.5 feet wide, just the way it's tilted there. It's 20 feet 6 inches long, and the top of the knife there is 10 feet 6 inches. I'm sorry, 10 feet 10 inches. And it really is a Guinness World Record, and it's in the book. The largest Bowie knife measures 6.24 meters or 20 feet 6 inches long and was achieved by the Bowie Chamber of Commerce, USA in Bowie, Texas, USA on the 8th of April 2016. Looks like they even have a website there, BowieTXKnife.com. A little bit about James Bowie, also probably more commonly known as Jim Bowie. He was born in Kentucky. James Bowie likely never came to the area, which became Montague County. Bowie as a city was formed in 1881, long after Bowie's death at the Battle of the Alamo. But the area's citizenry honored the hero by naming the town after him. During his lifetime, Bowie was described as a clever, polite gentleman, attentive to the ladies on all occasions. A true, constant, and generous friend, a foe to no one dared to undervalue, and many feared. Bowie was a noted knife-fighting legend and prominently wore a large knife after an 1827 brawl with several men on a sandbar outside Natchez, Mississippi. In this battle, Bowie was stabbed, shot, and beaten half to death, but still managed to win the fight using his large knife, which was reportedly designed for him by Bowie's brother Rezin and smith by blacksmith Jesse Clift. It was reportedly 9.5 inches long, a 1/4 inch thick, and 1.5 inches wide. It was straight back, described by one of the eyewitnesses as a large butcher knife and having no clip nor handguard, with a simple riveted wood handle. So the project here was quite an undertaking, and they got quite a bit written about here. If you're interested, you can come by here and check out the whole story of the world's largest Bowie knife. If you want to learn a town's history, sometimes it's best to come to a cemetery, see what you can find. But here's an interesting story of this particular cemetery. This is the grave of Walter Bethel Elbert, born February 20th, 1916, died December 7th, 1941. He was a fireman in first class on the Pearl Harbor on the USS West Virginia. The story goes, and this is a recent burial. These were unidentified remains. And recently, through a DNA match, they were able to find the family and identify the remains for Walters here. So they just recently buried him here. It's nice to bring some closure to the family. Needless to say, the family was quite surprised. 2 weeks before they actually had the burial, the Department of Defense calls them and says, hey, we identified the remains of your family member. Can you imagine that after years and years? As with any small town, there's lots of old buildings here, a lot of them dating back from the 1800s. And a couple moved to this town, decided to redo some of these buildings, and they decided they want to have some murals done. So there's 3 murals in this town. This one saying, "Welcome, y'all, Bowie, Texas." And they put the founding date there from October 29th, 1883. The artists here, so Roger Whitaker and Rachel Eastman. Looks like it's called Fluid Concept 11. And the O is actually a 0. Welcome, y'all. I don't have any history on this building, but it definitely looks old. Looks like that was the front there. but they built buildings in front of it. But over here, the gentleman who bought this building had a picture. If y'all don't know who that is, that's Mr. James Dean from the movie Giant. And this is one of the buildings that actually was damaged from a tornado that they had out here last year. EF3 touched down and came right through town here and ripped the roof off of this building. I'm loving this right here. It's the back of another building in the alley here, and you see some of the old advertisements here. Goodwin, Morgan, and Neely's studio. That's truly an amazing detail there. It's sad to see all the tin laying here from that tornado that ripped the roof off here. But I believe this building's for sale. If anybody's interested in buying it. This right here is the Chapman building, and it used to be a department store, but it's been converted to a community center where they can rent out for different functions like wedding receptions and stuff such as that. And apparently there's actually a third floor to this building that has offices as well. Now the tornado in question here, I believe it was an EF3 tornado, but you can still see signs of it, like that brickwork being ripped out on the roof of that building. And you can still see some of the tin that's been torn off and still laying on the roof right there. This area right here is still open. This used to be a counseling office. So for those of you that are general aviation pilots, like to fly your little Cessnas and such, fly on into Bowie here. That's a police car there. They repainted it and labeled it as the Bowie Airport. And that's actually a crew car, so they'll let you take the vehicle in town, spend some money, have a meal, and enjoy the place. So here we have the Upper Rim Music Studio, and they offer guitar lessons and such. Learn how to play the guitar in this little music shop. But what's kind of cool is they're actually set up here with the Texas Country Music Association, texascountrymusic.org. They have a little podcasting studio right here. Looks like the UR Liquor is now open Monday to Saturday. And it's 103 degrees. This tower right here belongs to the railroad. And this line right here belongs to the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, BNSF. You may have seen their trains here. This town is a railroad town. If it wasn't for the railroad, this town would not exist. And over here you see some of the maintenance equipment for the railroad. I'm trying to figure out exactly what this does here. This is put in new rail. Looks like we got 4 of a kind here. If you know what this is, leave a comment down below. I'm curious. Across the street here is the post office. I would say maybe 60s or 70s, maybe 50s. Well, what I love about these small town post offices is they do have the American flag, of course, but they have the POWMIA flag right below it. Across the street here, it's a bit warm out here. 104 degrees. My goodness. I was trying to figure out this mural here. It looks like a bunch of cyclists on a bike ride or bike race. The gentleman I was talking to here, he had to leave, but he said this was here in 1997 and it was faded then. This mural right here of the cattle drivers, the cowboys and the Indians. It's painted in the 1970s, but it's just faded out over time, slowly crumbling. So I did a little research out here just to see what I could find out about the town. And on Wikipedia, it basically gave a story about 2 bank robberies. One of them was in the 1800s, and they got away with $10,000 in gold coins. And supposedly that is buried somewhere up in the Red River area. So treasure hunters, that'd be a nice find, because I'm sure that's worth a lot more than 10 grand right now. The other bank robbery that they discussed with me here was a gentleman that came in and he took a shotgun and blew some of the ceiling tiles off and demanded the money. And then he took that money and paid somebody off that he owed money to. When he did that, that guy came back to the bank to deposit it, and of course the bills were all marked, so they figured out who robbed the bank. That's a criminal of the year right there. But the other thing I did read about this town is it is a railroad town. People did stop by here, and one of the people that did stop by in 1938 was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president at the time. Amon Carter grew up here. If you don't know who Amon Carter is, he's the one who owns the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, or started it. So there's a lot of places named after him. There's a lake, I believe there's a museum, and some other places as well. Some major freeway sections, I believe. But Amon Carter came back to town when FDR came in, and ceremoniously sold him some biscuits. I was talking to one of the townsfolk about that story, and they said, oh yeah, chicken and bread. That's a big festival in October, so they have a big chicken and bread festival. Apparently at one time, this town used to have the largest chicken farms anywhere in the United States, so they're famous for that. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. It's a fun trip. We came out here to meet with some people with the emergency management here, and there's some good people in this town. This town's struggling like every small town right now with COVID, so if you can, stop by here, grab a bite to eat, shop around the area. They really need it here. But again, we'll catch you next week. But for now, take care, be safe, bye.